on this exciting edition of Cuesta.
We're back.
Hi, Dave. You're there. We're back. We start off, we talk about a little statement that, important statement that we put out about the whole entire current race situation with George Floyd and what's going on there. So we verbatim talk about that. Then we talk about Colin Kaepernick and the people calling for him to get his job back. We then talk a good amount about the UFC, an exciting 2 weeks that we've had of watching it. We talk about Texas leading the charge on getting fans back and NASCAR doing the same. We talk about the NBA. It's officially back, baby. We talk about the Power 5 schools just being weird. And then I call shenanigans on Michael Jordan because I have a podcast and I can do that.
Real. It was real, and so was the moon landing.
Go somewhere. So without any further ado, hope everyone enjoys the show. And welcome to another exciting edition of Cuesta Dos.
I held back a cough. I did.
So much. Why? Well, let me just we just talked for like an hour before the show. And David didn't cough once. And now, right before we start the show, he holds in a cough. David, just start coughing again. Just do it. Just don't even hold it in anymore.
It's like a tick. I don't get it.
Oh my God. So anyway, he's David Cuesta. He's there. There you go. There's the cough. So we're here. We missed last week. So last week was me and David both decided that it was a tough time last week. It wasn't really the time.
Well, no, I'm not going to lie. It wasn't even that. I was already planning on not doing last week because you just had a baby. I didn't want to do too much. Like you had things to take care of.
A combination of things. I had things to take care of. It was a tough time. It wasn't a good time to talk sports.
Yeah.
So we decided to take a week off. Now we're back this week. And I want to start off the show because I don't know if many people saw it on our social media. As a unit, we decided Sports Opinions Podcast Network to put out a statement. So I'm going to read the statement to start off the show, just so those that didn't get a chance to read it will hear what we have to say about the current climate and the current situation.
Yes.
So reading it verbatim here. Here at Sports Opinions, we strive to leave our political views at the door. However, at this moment in time, our silence must be broken. We've entered a point in time where the entire world has stopped to look at something that is absolutely unacceptable. The lives of all Black people in this country are at risk every single day, simply because of the color of their own skin. This is a human rights issue, nothing less, and we will treat it with the seriousness it deserves. We have a diverse group of talented individuals that create content here for all to enjoy. We also have a diverse audience that we would be failing as a network if we remain silent on this issue. This country is at a time of crisis, and being a bystander only adds to this major societal issue. Now is the time to come together, not only as Black or white, but as Americans of all backgrounds, to condemn prejudice, racism, and injustice throughout the country. We have members of our network that are both directly and indirectly affected by the events around the country. So let's have a meaningful conversation and work towards a better country together. Racism has never and will never have a place in this world. Sports Opinions challenges you to do your part. Enough is enough. So anyone, if you have the time, have the resources, please go donate to the GoFundMe for George Floyd's family and for Minnesota Freedom Fund. You can go on Instagram on our link and also on Facebook. There's links there for both of those. So one of the reasons, again, we want to do this because, number one, we all are in 100% agreement. George Floyd was murdered. It was completely wrong. It was cold blood. It was racist. It was a power-hungry white cop and his three buddies that just looked along. It was wrong. Everything about it was wrong. One of the members of our network, Rob Planter, is a Black man, and we stand behind him 100%, support him, and he was very passionate, as he should be, about this situation. So we felt the need to put out that statement. Now, one thing about Rob is a man of action. Rob is never going to sit by, look at injustices, and just meme about it, just make some statements about it. Rob's going to try and do something. And Rob is. He is using his platform with the playbook to do a very special series called the Enough is Enough series. He's dropped part 1 and part 2. Part 1 was with Shavar Reynolds, Seton Hall guard. Part 2, Marquise Pickering, a photographer and former Pace University running back, scholarship athlete. Both of them are also Black men. And they just have the conversation about race and about what they experience as young Black men. and he plans to eventually branch it out. And the series is something that isn't going to go away.
Yep.
It's going to be something reoccurring. Joe is eventually going to be back on the show, but during this current time, it's something that Rob's doing. So I encourage everybody to go look up the Playbook with Rob and Joe and listen to the Enough is Enough series, especially if you're passionate about this. This is something that if you're one of the people that's constantly calling for change, this is part of a way to do it. Get into the conversation. Listen to these young men that are speaking. They're all intelligent young men that he has on. And maybe take some hints and pointers from them on how you could be making a difference. Dave, anything about the statement, about Rob's show, about all that?
I mean, not too much. I mean, obviously we crafted that statement. We all added some kind of input, or at least all looked at it and made sure it was all good. Yep. I mean, one of the things I guess that I took from like the first episode of Enough is Enough with Shavar and Rob is that, listen, if you really care about this, you got to keep having a conversation. If you really care about things, just keep talking about it, man. It's not a problem to talk about things. You can keep talking, keep having honest conversation, understanding people and getting through and making these changes. Definitely.
So kind of a semi-segue. So one of the things that fall out of this is there's, a lot of people and, all races and colors that are in agreement with a lot of the injustices that have been going on with the cops and, and the black people and all those things like that. One of the fallouts has been that a lot of athletes are definitely getting behind this. And one of the things that I've seen that is kind of perturbing me is a person that has been very upfront with the police brutality front, Colin Kaepernick. He has been the face of it from the NFL with the kneeling and all the things. And his initial statement, his initial mission was to raise awareness about police brutality against young black men and black men in general. We can argue here nor there about why he was blackballed and what happened and all of that. My issue right now is that there are a lot of players calling, a lot of people calling that, in this current climate, and Roger Goodell made a big apology about it.
Yes.
Is for Kaepernick to get his job back. Now, I want to kind of go into what that entails for the people that, even the athletes in the NFL that played with the man years ago, that don't understand what they're actually asking for. They're using him as a martyr, and it's kind of sad. First off, I don't like the fact that they are using him as a martyr. But what they're asking for is for Colin Kaepernick to enter the league as a backup and make a lot less money than he was making. Now, some people might look and go, what do you mean? He was a starter. Au contraire. He was benched for Blaine Gabbert, and then he started kneeling. So let's be real with the timeline here.
Yeah.
Colin Kaepernick was not kneeling and fighting against police injustices openly. Maybe he was doing it behind closed doors, but when he was a starter for the San Francisco 49ers, this was not his passion project.
Yep.
When he got benched by Blaine Gabbert, the following week, he started kneeling for the anthem. I don't know whether they correlate. I'm not accusing Colin Kaepernick of anything in that sense. But he was a backup at the time when he was benched and at the time when he stopped playing football. So what people need to understand is Colin Kaepernick, if you bring him back, that's fine. If the kid could play, Dave, I thought Colin Kaepernick was one of the best young quarterbacks, and I thought he was going to change the game. I've said that plenty of times.
Yeah.
If he can play and he can come back, he's going to come back as a backup. He's not a starter in the NFL. Period. Period. So that's one thing. And number two, everyone wants his job back. Can he play football still? I'm telling you right now, we watched his little workout where he kind of, skipped on the NFL, kind of slapped him in the face a little bit. They gave him a workout. He switched it, whatever. And people were gushing about how well he threw the ball to receivers that know him really well in shorts. I'm telling you, I could take Michael Vick now with a bunch of guys he used to play with. Or maybe even high school kids that he works with. And I'm telling you, he'll put on a better show than Colin Kaepernick as a retired Michael Vick. Give me Brett Favre with the high school kids. Brett Favre will put on as good of a show with his arm. I don't care what he does or anybody does in shorts. Can he take a hit? Can he read a defense? Does he still have that freaking game-breaking speed that made him one of the greatest weapons in football? That's what I need to know, and that's what none of us know, because Colin Kaepernick didn't play in the CFL. Didn't take his chance in the AAF or XFL, which maybe the latter two are good business decisions. They both folded. But the CFL has brought people back before. Warren Moon, Kurt Warner, Super Bowl champion, Doug Flutie, Boston College great, also went to the CFL, came back, had a good NFL career. So don't get me wrong, I'm not questioning Colin Kaepernick's passion for his movement. I'm questioning everybody calling him back for his job, and if they expect him to be a starter, they're wrong.
Yeah, no, I actually completely agree with that. He was a backup when he was kneeling.
Mm-hmm.
He did get benched for Blaine Gabbert. That was a real thing that happened, guys. And I guarantee you, most of the people that know Colin Kaepernick do not know who Blaine Gabbert is, and it's a good thing you don't know who Blaine Gabbert is. You don't need to know who
you don't know who Blaine Gabbert is.
Exactly. You don't need to know. You don't need to know who Blaine Gabbert is, but you do need to know that he was benched for him. And listen. Just like you, I loved Colin Kaepernick when he was first started coming in. I remember that Saints-Niners game. I think it was the divisional round of the playoffs. One of my favorite playoff games of all time, and he was a focal point of that. Yeah. And so I thought he was going to be really good. Ended up not being that good. I don't know if he regressed. I don't know if people got used to him. I have no idea. I have no idea what happened. Yep. And like you said, we're not entirely certain if he can still read a defense, if he can still do all these things. But another thing about this is I'm not going to lie to you, what does giving him his job back really do? What does it really do? I mean, is it just some symbolism that we feel good about? Like, that's the whole thing. It's not – that really doesn't change anything if you bring him back. Let's be honest here. Does it change anything?
No, he's not going to play.
Yeah, exactly. You don't know if he's
going to play.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. So, and I mean, listen – it's fine if he can come back and play if he wants to. I mean, he's had chances before.
And let me rephrase that. No, if he comes back, he will eventually be a starter in the NFL again, just for the reason that the media circus around it will cause him to be a starter again.
Maybe.
Because if you bring him back as a bench player, you better have a guy he can go be a bench player for Russell Wilson, maybe the only guy in the NFL that will not lose his starting job to him.
Yeah, there's no way they won't lose their starting job.
Very few. Maybe Patty Mahomes.
Yeah.
You can, on one hand.
Yeah, but that's the whole thing. It's just like, listen, I've been a proponent that if he was still able to be a starter, honestly, if you're still able to be a backup, just go take the backup job. Like, it's that simple. And I mean, he has been offered. There's offers from the Ravens and stuff like that he just hasn't taken. He just hasn't taken. There's stuff that has happened. And it's just... It annoys me because it's like, what does it actually do? I just don't think it actually does anything to bring Colin Kaepernick back.
And the real question, if you're Cap, why?
Exactly.
Why do you want to come back? You have a deal with Nike, which I think is a pretty lucrative deal for you. Mm-hmm. You are the face of a movement that is getting more play now than it did when it's a massive, he's a face of it.
Yeah, and honestly, you could do more outside of the NFL for the movement.
Yes. If Colin Kaepernick decided that he just wanted to become a speaker for this movement, he would make not only more money, he would make a bigger impact.
Yeah.
I guess it's symbolism that everybody's going for now that he gets signed up.
I guess so, but what's the point of symbolism that doesn't do anything? Like, legitimately, what is the point? It's not, there is no point to it. That's my whole thing about this.
Yeah, but I wanted people to understand that you're not getting Colin Kaepernick the starter. You're not getting Colin Kaepernick the Super Bowl runner-up. Mm-hmm. That Colin Kaepernick, we don't know if he exists anymore. It's now, what is it, 5 years, 4 years?
Yeah, it's been a while. It's weird. It has been a while.
This might, the only thing is it might be his best chance because nobody's training right now. So he might have a better chance to kind of get acclimated. But come on, guys. Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing with this? Colin Kaepernick is not, him going to the NFL is not going to erase police brutality if he goes back.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not going to make any difference.
No, that's true.
It's so, I don't know. I don't think the answer is get Kappa's job back. Mm-hmm. I think that is,
I agree.
Unfortunately for the man, maybe it's what he wants, but he's being used as a martyr when he could be doing, like David said, he could be doing much more outside of football.
He can do so much more.
His influence is already massive.
Exactly.
He doesn't need the NFL to be more influential.
Mm-hmm.
Bottom line.
All right. Well, we're good with that one. I know you really wanted to talk about that one. Yeah. I completely understand why. Something I completely wanted to talk about was the UFC. If you watched this before, I love the UFC.
I've moved it up, Dave. It's up on the list now. It's not the last thing we talk about anymore.
I know. Well, that's because I gave you my ESPN Plus. You can watch it more now.
I have been watching it.
So there's been a fight night and a pay-per-view since the time that we've been out. We talked about Overeem versus Harris, so we don't need to talk about that. So the fight night was Woodley versus Burns. I don't need to go through the whole card. I will just say Tyron Woodley. I didn't watch
that one.
Yeah, Tyron Woodley did not look like Tyron Woodley. Gilbert Burns looked great. He beat Tyron Woodley up. Like, he just really beat him up. It went to decision, but it was an easy one. Now, this pay-per-view, I was not entirely excited for this pay-per-view's main card. I'm not going to lie to you, but I just love watching fights. So I got it. Actually, a very good card.
The bantamweight showcase was fantastic.
Oh my God, especially with the vacant title. I mean, we know who's fighting for it. We know who's fighting for it. It's Aldo and Peter Yan. So we know who's fighting for it.
Can we talk about that real quick? Why the hell was Aldo? I get Peter Yan. Peter Yan is number 3rd. Aldo is 7th ranked in the division. What's the? Is it a charity that he's given that opportunity?
I have no entire.
Aldo's past his prime. Let's be realistic.
Yes. I have no entire idea. They might have said something about it during the pay-per-view, and I just wasn't able to hear it. But yes, that's the fight that's gonna happen for the bantamweight title. But the night of pay-per-view, we found out who's most likely going to fight for the title next after them.
Yeah.
Now, our first bantamweight fight, I'm going to go through all of them because I loved all these fights. Yeah. The first bantamweight fight was Sean O'Malley versus Eddie Wineland. Sean O'Malley is an amazing creature for the UFC. He's not as big as Conor McGregor yet. I'm going to tell you right now, Sean O'Malley could get that big. He's not as crazy, not as outrageous as Conor McGregor is sometimes.
But McGregor wasn't as rambunctious in the beginning either.
Exactly. And Sugar Sean could definitely be that. Now, at first, I thought Wineland was fighting O'Malley very well. Then O'Malley comes in and just knocks him out, fakes an uppercut, a straight right to the chin. It was disgusting.
He saw something. He saw something that knew that was going to be open because he looked for it and he set it up.
Exactly. He got that hit, knocked him out cold, and had one of the best, just like Cormier said, one of the best walkaway knockouts.
The walkaway was better than the knockout.
Oh, 100%.
He walked away like he just got done buying like a groceries, and he was just walking out of a grocery store.
It was a daily routine for him to do that. So that was an awesome fight to watch.
Yeah.
After that, we had the welterweight Neil Magny versus Anthony Rocco Martin. Rocco Martin came out very fast. He came out trying to really beat up on Neil Magny. He did pretty well, but Neil Magny is just a force of stamina. And he was able to just outlast Rocco Martin. Rocco Martin was so tired by the 3rd round, and Neil Magny took control of that 3rd round and ended up winning by decision.
In those situations, I feel like Martin knew that if he fought more of an honest game, he would have lost by decision anyway. He needed to go to try and win early. Yeah, he needed to go for a TKO. He needed to go for something where a ref would stop it because it would be too much abuse.
Exactly. And it was fair. And I know I saw him get a little confused as to why he didn't get to. I mean, it wasn't a unanimous decision for Neil Magny, which I don't know if you entirely agree with that. I thought I might have liked to split more, but I know he was definitely confused.
I thought it was pretty unanimous. I thought that after the first round, where Martin might have thrown like a psycho, but Magny was never out of control of the fight. He controlled the fight the whole time.
That's very true. True. So that was fun fight to watch. It was a Neil Magny fight. Neil Magny always fights this way, and I love it. I genuinely do. Next bantamweight out of 3 tonight. That night, Aljamain Sterling, Aljo versus Corey Sandhagen. I was actually very excited for this fight.
Yeah,
Sterling came out on fire. He came out moving quick.
Yes, he did.
Able to get a backpack on Sandhagen, bring him down, and was able to get the choke on him. And he did it through a lot of work on the ground.
And we talked initially right before the fight. We were texting, and I said flat out, if Sandhagen gets this win right here, is Team Elevation the premier team in MMA because they have Justin Gaethje, they have Dober, and if Sandhagen won, there was a good chance that he was going to be the next guy up.
Yes,
the winner of this was going to be the next
title
fight against Jan or Aldo, the eventual winner.
Yes,
Sterling showed that
he deserves.
If they fought again, Sandhagen doesn't get caught.
Yeah,
but the way Sterling set it up, I said to you after we watched the fight. Sterling had the opportunity to really put Sandhagen on the ground when he had him up against the cage. He allowed Sandhagen to pop up for a second so he can get better position.
Yep.
He did his hips purposely. Like, that is something that Sterling set that up beautifully. And Sandhagen was out for a second too. He actually went
to sleep for a second. Aljamain Sterling, we're going to see him at the next title fight for the bantamweight, and I can't wait.
He's the next champion of bantamweight.
Probably.
I think he's a better fighter than both. Jan's very good.
Yeah,
I think he's definitely better than Aldo. And I'm not knocking Aldo. I really like Jose Aldo. He was a great fighter in his day.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Sterling is probably the best bantamweight right now.
Probably. He's very, very good. So we're going to see him in the next title fight, and I can't wait.
And even though the next bantamweight fight's amazing too.
Yeah. And then last bantamweight fight of the night, the co-main event, Rafael Assunção versus Corey Garbrandt. Now, I was very interested in this fight. I thought Assunção was going to be able to do it. I didn't know Cody was going to come back very well. I mean, he said he was Cody 2.0, and he honestly showed it. He was very, very fast throughout the whole night.
But
he wasn't. Yeah, he was also poised. But you could see Assunção still fought very, very well. The problem here that happened, why Assunção got on the wrong end of one of the best knockouts I've seen in a while.
One of the best I've ever seen.
Exactly. Is he got caught up at you hit a 10-second mark. You know, most of the time, depending on how it's going, you want to make an impact at the end of the round. Make something happen. You never know. Assunção went to close in. Garbrandt's at the cage. He throws a middle leg kick. Kind of connects, not really. Tries to go for another punch. Garbrandt sees it the whole time. Comes up with a disgusting right hook. Knocks him out cold. Exactly. Knocks Assunção out cold. Like, couldn't sit on the stool they gave him. Was falling off of it. That's how much he was. That's how.
The fact that Assunção's jaw wasn't broken, though, I give his body credit. The guy could take a hit.
That is true.
So I have a question. We saw in the fight, and one thing that I think, maybe UFC needs to consider never putting fans back in, because I love being able to hear them.
I know.
There was legitimate trash talk going in the middle there. Do you think it got in Assunção's head when Garbrandt was saying, at one point,
I heard him. He said he heard him.
Good hit. And he said, I heard him. And Assunção was like, man, what do you mean I stumbled?
Exactly.
Like some of that, do you think that kind of got in Assunção's head where he's just like, I got to shut him up? Because it was talk going to him. He was the one taking the abuse.
That is true. I mean, possibly. I don't know. I think he just really, because it wasn't a decisive, those 2 rounds weren't decisive for anyone really.
Yeah.
So I think he really wanted to try to make a move to show how he took round 2 or something like that. And he just got caught. Yep. He just got caught. It's that simple. And listen, if you want to go see a fun knockout, go see that knockout. It's a really good one. Now,
fantasy matchup. If Garbrandt continues this, we're going to see Garbrandt versus Sterling. I feel like Sterling's going to be the eventual champion. I think we're going to see eventually Garbrandt climb back up to that. Is Garbrandt's speed enough to beat Sterling? Because his speed and his power behind, it's not that he's fast. Every single hit he has power behind it.
Yes.
Who would you put, if we see this Garbrandt continue, where are you seeing it go? Are you seeing Sterling still being better?
I'm going to see Sterling still taking it. I need to see more from Garbrandt. I need to see more. I mean, this is one fight back. He's very hyped. He's very, he said he was Cody 2.0. He's feeling himself. And I mean, Assunção's never had a title fight. Assunção's been very good for a while, but he's never had a title fight. He's never been that guy for whatever reason. So Cody has more fights to go before he gets Sterling. So whoever the champ is. I know we're crowning Sterling already. You never know.
Yeah. Before we go into the main event, I want to talk about Chase the Dream Hooper real quick. That kid has so much heart.
He really does, man.
Outclassed in his fight.
He sure was.
And totally. But he never backed down. There was never a point. He took some hits, but there was never a point where he was scared. He was never scared in the fight. And when he got on the ground, if he has more strength, his technical jiu-jitsu is amazing.
The kids,
it is Gracie level. Like that. That's how good his jiu-jitsu is.
Yeah. The kid's 20 years old. So
listen,
and he looks like
I've seen 20-year-olds with body though. Like everyone
100%.
He's young. He is the skinniest 20-year-old I've ever seen.
That's what I'm saying. He looks like Napoleon Dynamite. He looks like McLovin. So I mean, it's tough for him. It is tough for him unless he gets to the ground right now, because obviously his striking is not there. And going against Alex Caceres is not a great thing for him. No. So, but I like you said, the heart on him, you cannot replicate that. To be able to keep trying to walk down Alex Caceres after he's beating you up, standing, I love it. I love it.
Yeah. If Hooper can get strikes, he's a real force in that division or in any division. If you can get some power behind him with his technical on the ground, he just needs to be able to have enough of a strike game to respect it. He never needs to be a knockout artist.
No.
He just needs to have there's no respectable strike game.
Yeah.
At all. He landed a few good kicks, and Alex shrugged them off because there's no power behind them. So I just want to talk about his heart. Dave, go ahead, jump into the main event, because the main event, were you the guy that bet the million?
Oh, yeah, of course.
To get 166K output? What animal is that?
The main event,
you have to have
degenerate gambling. That's all I got to say.
Money.
So the main event was Amanda Nunes. Yeah, exactly. The main event was Amanda Nunes, the Lioness, the GOAT of women's UFC, honestly,
versus Felicia the GOAT Spencer. Of all of UFC.
Yeah, we could say that. Versus Felicia Spencer. Felicia Spencer was thrown into the lion's cage that night. But yet again, the heart on her to keep fighting the way she did, man. She got beat up. It's just that simple. She had nowhere to go. Even on the ground where Felicia Spencer is good, Amanda Nunes still dominated. She dominated all throughout that cage. And she won in decision, which I give it to Felicia Spencer. You got the decision. I agree
with commentary. Nunes allowed her to get the decision.
I can see
Nunes allowed her in the final round, where took her to the ground and kind of laid on her. Didn't really throw many strikes. She tried to get a knockout in the last 10 seconds is when she really tried to knock Felicia out. She actually only fought the last 10 seconds of the 5th round. Like, Nunes is, and you could say that anyone's thrown to the Lion's Den, because Spencer fought Chris Cyborg very honest, even though she lost to Chris Cyborg.
Yeah,
he fought Chris Cyborg very honest. Nunes took apart Chris Cyborg, and then she took apart Spencer. There isn't a fighter in the world that is pound for pound better than Amanda Nunes in any form of fighting right now. She's at the top of her game. She's better than what Conor McGregor was. She's better than what Ronda Rousey was. She's better than what Anderson Silva was. She's better than the greatest champions the UFC has seen, and that's not hyperbole. She's taken down the best that the women have had to offer.
Oh yeah, 100%. No, she's done. I mean, obviously, there's going to be some arguments about that. I do not know too much about UFC history.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't. I love UFC, but I don't know too much about the history to give you the argument. But I will say you will definitely still have people on your side, because Amanda Nunes is that damn good. And she has been that damn good. She's the only person in history to own 2 belts in different weight classes and defend both of them as well. So, I mean, she has her place in the record book. She has her place in history. Undoubtedly one of the best, no matter what you think, one of the best we've seen in the octagon.
Now she's taken time off, well-deserved. And someone that doesn't deserve any time off and is an absolute ass clown, Conor McGregor. What a joke.
I'm not going to lie.
What a joke.
I didn't read what he said.
I literally was like, hey, I'm deciding to retire from fighting. Thanks for everything. Bye. That was his tweet, basically. That was his tweet. After accepting the Anderson Silva fight, after coming back and fighting Cowboy Cerrone for obviously no freaking reason. You fought Cowboy. You put another loss on Cowboy's record for no reason.
Yeah, really. Guy just loves fighting.
Cowboy just doesn't care.
Just loves fighting.
And, and continue to look and potentially be this new Conor McGregor. And this Conor McGregor was so hungry to get back to the top, and all the things he talked to just up and say, I'm done again. Like, you're a clown, dude. You're a clown. Absolute clown. Because here's the thing. He's going to come back.
He's 100% going to come back. Henry Cejudo's going to come back. I don't think retirement means anything in UFC.
When he's going to come back, when Khabib is ready to fight, when he can come to the States,
Probably.
He's going to come back and demand the Khabib fight, and he's going to get it because Dana White loves money.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
And he's going to get his ass handed to him by Khabib again. And
Probably.
I'm officially off the Conor McGregor bandwagon for good. I am for whoever he's fighting against, and I really hope they rearrange his face. I'm done with the man. I'm done with him.
Yeah, listen, I do understand it. I do understand it.
He's a fraud.
No reason to keep doing this, son. There's no reason. He's honestly just memeing at this point. But
it's not funny. You're not as good as you used to be.
Hey, man. And I mean, like I said, I don't know exactly how much retirement means in the UFC anymore. Apparently, Henry Cejudo is open to coming back to fight, which is like, dude, why'd you even retire in the first place? But I mean, listen, it doesn't entirely matter to me too much. As long as I get to see good fights, I don't care what happens. But one of the more interesting things that are coming up with UFC right now is that John Jones and Jorge Masvidal are both pretty mad at Dana White because they do not like the way their contracts are going. They do not like how much money they're making.
John Jones asked for a release officially?
Did he? I don't know.
I believe he asked for a release from his contract.
He might have. Yeah, he might have actually. And it's interesting. I have not looked too much into it, so I cannot say who's in the right or if I understand which position is which. But I will say it does not help Dana White. John Jones has been on and off with things just going on in his life, but it did not help to lose John Jones and Masvidal.
Masvidal hurts worse because he's young. He's up and coming. John Jones has been the cat that has 9 lives with the UFC. Dana White could say, you are destroying the integrity of this company with the things he has done. He really could have sat there but he's given John Jones and he stood behind John Jones in a lot of the issues that he's had in his life. So I don't know what John Jones is doing. I do know if he does leave and goes to like somewhere like a Bellator or something like that, he automatically raises the credibility of those companies. So
100%.
I don't know what Dana's going to do there, but Dana also has so many great fighters that he could lose both Jones and Masvidal and be fine. The company's fine.
Oh yeah, no, it'll be okay. It's just you just don't like losing them.
No, especially Masvidal would hurt even worse because I haven't seen enough Masvidal fights in my life, and I want to see more because he's fantastic.
Yeah, just went and knocked out Ben Askren like the quickest knockout ever. So
yeah, he didn't want to be there, and he made it known. And he just knocked him out. So we're going to move on from UFC. We're going to talk about some more positive stuff because UFC, even though people are punching each other in the face, is still positive because it's happening. And Texas is making more things happen. State of Texas is now going to allow pros sporting events to have fans of 25% capacity. This is something, Dave, we discussed. I've been discussing since
multiple times. I think
there's no reason why fans can't be there. No reason why fans can't be there with social distancing. Texas agrees with me. So I'm happy with that. I'm in New York, so New York doesn't agree with anything I really say because
does the whole state of Texas agree with you?
Probably not, but I would say their governorship, I guess, agrees with me on this.
Okay. All right.
I'm hoping more states follow. I'm hoping that more states will agree to do something like this because, again, if you throw a mask on, if you're social distancing, if you're doing all the things that we're told should prevent this, why not? Why not? Still set up the stupid little tape boxes everywhere saying, wait here, because no one apparently knows what 6 feet is. And just we are smart enough to sit there and say, okay, you can only go to this section and then put people here and then put people there. Treat it like a game of little Tetris without touching. It's doable. It's really doable. And also, I saw something else. NASCAR is going to begin allowing fans, which again, I don't think NASCAR makes as much of a difference because you sure as hell can't hear them. But it'll just be cool to see people you can't. Have you ever been to a NASCAR race?
No. I get it. I do.
And all you're hearing is, and it's awesome. Being live at a NASCAR race, don't knock it if you haven't been there.
I've never been.
Colors on the cars are awesome. And if you try to watch more than one, you throw up. So fun. Cool.
It doesn't sound great.
Honestly, that's really only at Dover because Dover's small enough where you could see the whole track. So if you try to watch the whole race, you don't watch any of the race.
Okay.
Anyway, but yeah, no, that's such positive. Not only are sports coming back, we're gonna let fans come back, and I just love the fact that if you choose to go to a game now, you can go. If you feel safe enough to go to the game, if you feel safe enough to bring your family, if you feel safe enough to go to a race, go. If you don't want to go, don't go. And not everyone that wants to go is going to be able to go because I guarantee for when the Cowboys start playing, they're going to sell out in 3.2 seconds. 25% is going to sell out.
Yep.
So it's good stuff, Dave. I'm happy about it.
I know. I'm loving it, man. I am loving it. Unless we see something bad happen, this is going to keep happening in all of the states. Yeah. So I can't wait. Pro sports need to come back.
Kudos to NASCAR for being a leader in all of this. NASCAR and UFC have been a leader in all of this.
Yes. Well, I mean, they're also ones where fans don't matter as much. But
obviously, UFC has shown fans matter a good amount when it comes to coaches. I think coaches took the hint because there was a lot less chirping in the last few fights.
That is true.
They saw what happened to Anthony Smith, and they're just like, wow, that guy could have won a fight, and he got the Dickens kicked out of him in the end because he tried to go 1,000 miles an hour.
Yep, that is true. But it just showed that you could still, the show can go on. The show definitely can go on.
And it will.
Yes, exactly. Talking about the show going on, the NBA has now voted on how they are going to return.
I'm dancing here. I'm dancing. No, if you're watching YouTube, you can see me doing the power dancer.
They're going to be in Disney.
Yep.
Now, and the season will be finished under these following terms. I'm going to read them verbatim, just so I'm not trying to paraphrase and I get it wrong. All games will be played at Disney's Wide World of Sports complex in Orlando. I've never been there. Have you?
I didn't run cross country at Marist. Once every 4 years, the MAC has their championship at Disney Wild World of Sports. Mm-hmm. So I haven't had the chance to be there. So yeah, your answer is no. I don't know why I went long-winded. The answer is no. I've never been there.
I don't know why I did. I don't know why I didn't really ask for that. I asked
because I wanted to mention Marist in a podcast because shout out to Marist cross country track and field.
I guess, dude. I guess all 5 people that go there care.
But, fight me right now.
Anyway, so I don't know. I'm assuming since it's Disney, it's pretty cool in there. But that's all where all the games are going to be played. There's going to be 22 teams that make this trip, and they will play 8 regular season games each. It's very interesting to me.
Knicks aren't one of them.
Okay. It says if the number 9 seed in either conference is within 4 games of the number 8 seed in that conference, they will be pushed into a play-in tournament. The number 8 seed only needs to beat the number 9 seed once, but the number 9 seed must win twice. Now, the first games will be played on July 31st. Game 7 of the NBA Finals, if necessary, will be played on October 12th. Training camps for the next season are expected to begin on November 10th, while the start of that season is projected for December 1st, though those dates are fluid. Now, this is a very interesting way to do it. I know you sent me I don't think it was a direct quote, but it was something that Brian Windhurst said where teams are a little scared that the NBA might be trying to give Zion a chance to get into the playoffs.
Trying to fix it. The words that Windhorst used was fix.
That is true. Fix it so Zion gets into the playoffs. But let's not forget, if Zion gets into the playoffs, JJ Redick gets into the playoffs, and he gets to have that streak continue.
It's true.
But
it's more about JJ than Zion, everybody.
Exactly. It's much more about JJ. But, I mean, I feel like this is also an answer to, like, Damian Lillard, where he said he wasn't even going to try to play if his team doesn't have a chance for the playoffs. Now, I'm not going to lie. I don't remember the standings in the West. I didn't even know if the NBA was going to come back, so I didn't think about remembering them. I'm assuming they're probably close. Are they close enough?
I don't think the Pelicans are the 9 seed, so that's why everyone's scared, because the Pelicans are the 9 and the Grizzlies are the 8. So that's why everyone's thinking that rule. And I think the Pelicans are like within like 5 games right now.
But isn't it like 14 from? I thought it was like 13 from the West or something like that.
No, they're doing it straight up 8 and 8. So the playoff format's going to be the same after that one caveat with 9 and 8. That whole entire 14 and 8 thing is gone.
But they're saying 22 teams.
Yeah, they're just dropping off. They're chopping off the bottom half of each bottom parts of each conference.
That makes sense.
So, Dave, I had to do have to say. Now, number one, our Brooklyn Nets might be safe. The Wizards are 9 games back from them. So within 8 games, the Nets can do Nets things. But no KD, no Kyrie as of now. Even though Kyrie is showing up as an inactive player on the roster, so there's a chance he decides he wants to play. But I'm neither here nor there. We're not talking about that much. But I think this should stay, period. I think this is awesome. I think making the worst team in the playoffs have to work for it. If it's a really tight battle right there and making them have to work a little bit harder, why not? That's awesome.
Yeah.
To me, that's cool.
Yeah, I know it is cool. I mean, I was on board with the whole, like, why do we even care about conferences for the whole playoff setting? Because you see a lot of really bottom teams just get knocked out by the first seeds. So I thought it made a lot more sense for, like,
you also see the upsets, though.
Well, 100%, but you don't. There's not as many. Like, there's below 500 teams in the playoffs, and it starts getting to the point. It's like, what does it mean? So I understood, like, the reasoning for it's just the top teams,
16 and just go with it. Yeah,
top 16 and just go with that. Because honestly, how much, like, the division doesn't matter in the NBA. The conference barely matters in the NBA. So that it made sense to me. But I do like this as well. It makes it a little more interesting.
Let's be realistic. LeBron's rested. It's already over. Like, let's be honest right now. a rested LeBron, I don't care that everyone else is rested. The dude's going to average like 40, 12, and 10.
A 50-year-old man is going to go ahead and win again.
And that's going to be on top of AD averaging 30, a double-double, like 30 and 14. So let's be honest right here. I hate for everyone. Everyone's going to be like, oh, you're no. LeBron, rested LeBron that doesn't now has to worry about playing, instead of having to worry about playing 82 plus another season.
Yep.
The dude only has to play one season right now.
Yep.
Playoffs. They're in such a good position. Yeah, they don't get home court. I'm telling everyone again, not having home court really helps LeBron because LeBron don't care. He knows he's the best player on the court, period. I don't care who you put. Kawhi, Giannis. I don't care. A rested LeBron against a rested anybody else LeBron is still head and shoulders better than all of them. And if you don't believe that, you are lying to yourself. But we're seeing another Lakers championship, unless LeBron gets hurt. That's the only way. If LeBron or AD get hurt, we're seeing the Lakers probably sweep everybody until the finals, and the Bucks maybe steal one if they're lucky.
I mean, I did choose the Lakers as well in my prediction in the first place, so I'm going to have to go with them because I want to be right.
Even now, simple. Like it's even more.
That's simple. No, I just want to be right. That's all it is.
I don't like you. So what do you think about the fix? Because I wouldn't put it past the NBA to try and fix against Zion, and I really would. Why is 4 games the number? Like that's a stupid. Like 3 is a much prettier number. Everyone likes 3.
Yeah.
Why 4?
I don't know.
Mathematical, like, hey, the Pelicans with their max remaining 8 games are more than likely to be within 4, and let's set up Ja versus Zion. Like
I don't know. It's weird, but I mean, I don't really care too much as long as we see the playoffs happen. I just want sports. I'm
just also happy they're playing 8 games first because everyone's probably like, let's get the craptastic play out of the way.
Exactly.
So
like can be good. Really sloppy play.
That's where the people only reason.
Yeah, exactly. Where people are hogging the ball because damn, it's been so long. I just want to dribble, son. I just want to play.
Oh, the role players aren't going to shoot.
Exactly.
Like the Nets are going to be like Spencer and Karras are going to score 45 apiece, and they're going to like win or lose like 90 to 80. Like it's going to be like we're going to see some 90 style scores. It's either going to be 90 style low or early in the year 130 to like something because there's going to either be no defense or everyone's bricking. Like that's going to be it.
Yep.
It's going to be fun. So moving on to another thing, which kind of has no segue, but it's something that I've never seen.
It doesn't always need a segue.
I mean, segues are cool. Have you ever read one?
No, actually. No, I have not. I have not, but I know Paul Blart did. He's a pretty cool guy. So.
And speaking of Paul Blart, Power 5 conferences. So the Power 5 conferences in the NCAA, they all sent lobbyists to Congress, and this happened last week. So we're covering both stuff since we missed last week. But they sent lobbyists to Congress to try and lobby Congress to make legislation. Legislation.
There you go. It's a big word.
To make sure the players get the play. Wow, I cannot talk.
Boy.
Dave, you might want to take this one, but
oh boy.
To make sure that the players get the pay that they agreed with the NCAA.
Real tongue twister.
Oh God, it's terrible. But I've never seen this, Dave. They want to push the process faster. I think it might be because they saw when the states started to adopt this that the NCAA had no choice but to buckle. But to me, you got what you want. Get the government out of sports. Like,
really.
I don't want the government. I hate when the government gets involved with all the steroid stuff or anything like that. Like, to me, I hate everything about this. The fact that the Power 5 conferences are using any money. Number one, where the hell are the Power 5 conferences making money? What do they make money off of? The same thing the NCAA makes off of, but no one yells at them about that.
Exactly.
They're spending money to go and send lobbyists to Congress to get their like this is like an act of good. Like I don't know. I don't like this. I don't like anything about this. I think it all stinks.
Yeah, I don't like it either. I mean, it's just like you said. You got what you wanted from the NCAA, so it's like why bend something so much that it eventually breaks? What's the point of that? What's the point of doing? I just don't understand the whole point of doing all this. Like you said, it doesn't all add up. It seems like they have something else that they want to do with this.
And to me, this goes back to a point I think we made a few weeks ago, either 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago. If I'm the NCAA now, I am now chipping away. chipping away, making this now worse and worse and worse. Yeah. Because not only are you guys ragging on me in social media and in social media, national media and everything, now you're trying to go over our heads to force our hands with legislators. Like, are you serious right now? Like,
yeah, exactly. Like, you just listen. I don't like the NCAA, but you still need to be able to talk to the guys. You still need to be able to do things with them. You can't just go over their heads. You can't go and ask for the manager. You can't be a Karen.
Unless you're all going to the NAIA, like, cut it out. Like, work with them. Oh, man. I don't know. There's not much to say about that. I think it was just, there was like, I didn't remember the numbers. There was a whole bunch of like stat sheet of like which conference set, and it was a lot of money. Like a few of them, like, I think the lowest one was like $50,000. But like the highest one, I think was like almost like $300,000 they spent on lobbyists. Some of them lobbied to both sides of the aisle. Like it's a ridiculous number that they spent to get players played. Why I cannot say that. To get players paid.
How can you not do that? You know, I'm just happy that you didn't actually say anything about me calling them Karens, because I know you hate that word.
Who did you call Karens? I didn't even hear that.
I called the Power 5 schools Karens because they asked to speak to the manager. The manager is the government.
The Karen meme is so stupid.
I know. I know you don't like it.
Karen and Boomer and all that. Like, if anyone listened to my podcast with Jade Hoy of The Athletic, we both agreed that the Karen and Boomer thing is stupid. Anyway, but yeah, this stinks to high heaven. I'm not a fan of it. That's it.
Me neither. And I know something else that you think stinks. You want to call shenanigans on Michael Jordan. Now, I'm not going to lie. I didn't care too much about the story. I saw it when ESPN popped up on my phone, and I said, why is ESPN telling me about this? I don't care. I don't care at all. But apparently, Michael Jordan and his crew, it was some kind of fishing competition.
Big Blue something. It's a big competition where they fish for marlin. It's a pretty famous one. It's a 60-second itineration of it.
Okay. So apparently Michael Jordan and his crew were able to catch a 442-pound marlin. Now, you think this was all a setup. You think they had all the film equipment. There was no moon landing. You think that this was done in Hollywood. That's what you think.
Not that it was done in Hollywood, that the marlin was quite literally brought in by a boat, placed in front of them, put it in the water so then Michael can go, hey guys, we bought it's the 5th biggest one there. I guarantee they're going to get a 500-pounder at some point. I don't know how long this tournament goes on for, but they're going to get one. I will not be surprised if Michael Jordan's crew finishes in the top 3 and makes the money, because only the top 3 get money.
Yeah.
Would not be surprised.
I mean, that's a possibility. I mean, listen, you just sound like you're really talking about, like, they had the lighting all set up, they had the background and everything. The Hollywood ending for the moon landing, you're really talking about that right now.
The cake is not always a lie, Dave, and you know this. Anyway, that's for my gamer friends there that understand that one.
No, my gamer bros.
The gamer boys, the Twitch community, the mixers. Anyway,
okay.
But yeah, no, this, Dave, you talked about this. We are both tired of this whole MJ resurgence of a bunch of people in your generation, especially, that only know Michael Jordan by their shoes. Never seen the guy really play. All of a sudden now, Michael Jordan is the guy. Can't talk bad about Mike. Mike doesn't have a gambling problem. He didn't just drop $3 million on this tournament.
I blame The Last Dance. I didn't watch it. But I blame it.
It was great. It was great.
I heard it was fantastic. I heard it was fantastic. But then it got to the point. You know how everyone complains, and validly complains, that ESPN only talks about LeBron? Like, why do we know about LeBron's Taco Tuesday? We don't need to care about it. It's a valid complaint. But when The Last Dance came out, everyone was talking about it, and Michael Jordan became a LeBron figure again in ESPN.
Yeah.
He was like, and it's like, why do I don't stop? Like, I don't need to care about him that much. I don't need to know everything that happened. I don't need to know that was that like the body, like, security guard that beat him in gambling and did his own shrug. Like, yeah, it's cool for 5 seconds. Michael Jordan has a legitimate gambling problem and no one cares. Like, why are his vices like okay?
I mean, he would not be the guy. Him and Kobe, neither of them would be the guys that they are if they were in this climate. They'd be worse than LeBron because they actually really cursed and got on guys, and Michael Jordan fought people. Like, Now it's cool because we don't see it in live time. Like that's really all it is. But
and when Jimmy Butler did it, everyone hated him.
Yeah.
He didn't even do that bad.
Getting a little off topic with Michael. One thing that annoys me about The Last Dance is, why did it take quarantine for the rest of people that aren't in the sports community to realize that the best part of ESPN is their documentaries? And it has been for a really long time.
Exactly.
The 30 for 30 series, the E60, they have their journalists, when they are allowing them to be journalists and do these documentaries, I'm sorry, ESPN, you are not a sports news organization anymore. You're not. You are a documentary, and that's where, I haven't seen the Lance one. I heard the Lance one's fantastic as well. Yeah.
I know a Bruce Lee one was coming out.
It came out yesterday. I want to watch the Bruce Lee one. Mm-hmm. But that is their best part of them.
Yep.
It's, if you didn't know that already, I'm kind of the old guy. Get off my lawn. Go away. Take The Last Dance. That'd be the last thing you watch. Get out of here.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. My favorite 30 for 30 is basically, not loosely connected, but it's not exactly the sports story that everyone cares about. My favorite is Soul Man with Sonny Vaccaro.
Yep.
I don't know if you remember. Yeah, you remember that one?
Yeah.
An amazing one. And it's all about sneakers. It's all about what made Nike and Adidas and everything so big. And I don't know if it's me just being nerdy, but I love the behind the scenes of that stuff. But you also have you also have the Fab Five, the Bad Boy Pistons.
No Mas.
Exactly. All these 30 for 30s are so damn good. They're so damn good to watch. The Sonny V one.
Yeah. That is ESPN. Sonny, yeah, I know what you're talking about. That is ESPN at its best, is that their documentaries, and it just annoys me that it takes The Last Dance for Twitter to blow up about their documentaries. That should be Twitter, every documentary they do.
Yep.
They are all award-winning level stuff.
Yep. But hey, man, I don't want to hate Michael Jordan.
I don't hate him.
Exactly. I don't hate him. Exactly. But I just don't want to talk about him all the time.
Dave, don't you know if they're great at the time, you got to talk about them ad nauseum. Steph Curry hasn't been talked about because Steph Curry hasn't played. The moment Steph Curry goes and hits a 79 3,000-foot three again, everyone's going to be like,
shimmy.
Greatest shooter ever. His daughter's adorable. His wife buy her stuff.
Well, we also have to have Mike Breen saying bang, very amazing commentating. I love it.
Mike Breen's amazing.
Exactly.
And then we have to have everyone remember that Klay Thompson's also good at basketball.
Yep.
Stop being mean to him.
All right. Well, that's all we needed to say about that.
That's all, folks. Anyway, that's going to close out this episode of Cuesta Dos. Dave, anything else to add before we really do the closeout here?
It's fun to be back. And if you have listened to this entire thing, I do want you to remember what we said at the beginning. Whatever you care about, whether it's about the situation right now, whether it's about anything else, you can keep talking about it. Don't forget what you care about.
Yep.
Keep talking about it. And if you really don't care about it that much, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not asking you to. I'm asking you to care about your beliefs and keep talking about them. Do not get complacent.
And piggybacking on that, keep caring, keep talking. And this might get people annoyed at me. Stop deleting those that don't agree with you. Talk to them, embrace them, debate them. You never know what you can change about them.
Yep.
Or yourself. You might find some inner demons. All right. So without getting too preachy, Cuesta Dos is done this episode. But we'll be back next week, hopefully.
Yes. Well, we will 100% be back.
Good. I'm happy David wants to be back because I want to be back.
I don't, but we kind of have to be.
You can find Dave on Twitter at DQuesta308, Instagram Cuesta Cola. Find me on Twitter and Instagram at @_Cuesta30. Find Sports Opinions on Twitter at SportsOpinion30. Instagram, Sports Opinions 30. This doesn't have a Twitter or Instagram yet. It might. I don't know. I kind of like our logo. Maybe. By the way, everybody, Yapti is back again. He's been kind of hiding. Surgery has been good. He's still here. He's still doing his thing. Jaw is shut, though. Is never opening again.
That's fine.
But
that's fine.
Yapti is here.
Through the wire.
Yeah, he's through the wire. I was through the wire for a while. Anyway, so again, everybody, I hope you enjoyed listening. Have a good one all.